Your body could be in ketosis. Your carbs could be low. Your meals could look perfect, and yet your insulin is still high. That's the silent reason so many people feel stuck, frustrated, and confused on keto. Because here's the truth most people never hear. Ketosis does not automatically mean low insulin. And if insulin stays elevated, fat loss slows down, energy crashes return, and your metabolic healing never fully happens. Let's break this down in a way that actually makes sense for your body. They told you keto would fix everything, cut the carbs, raise the fat, and your body would finally start burning its own fuel. But what if the real problem was never carbs alone? What if the real problem is the one hormone still controlling everything behind the scenes, insulin? Because your body doesn't burn fat just because carbs are low. It burns fat when insulin is low. And those are not the same thing, not even close. Right now, millions of people are following keto, measuring carbs, tracking macros, doing everything right, and still not losing weight, still feeling tired, still battling cravings. And they don't understand why, because no one told them this one uncomfortable truth: ketosis is a state, but insulin is a signal. And if that signal is wrong, your results will be wrong too. Insulin is not evil. It's essential for survival. It helps move nutrients into your cells. It keeps your blood sugar stable. But when insulin stays elevated for too long, it becomes the lock on your fat stores. A biological command that says, do not burn fat, store it, protect it, hold on to it, and that command can stay active even when carbs are low. Scientific studies have shown that insulin levels, not just blood glucose, determine whether your body is in fat burning mode or fat storing mode. And this is where everything starts to shift, because you can have normal blood sugar, even low blood sugar, and still have elevated insulin quietly blocking fat loss in the background. Think about that. Your body could look like it's doing everything right on the outside, while internally it's still stuck in storage mode. So what's keeping insulin high even on keto? It starts with something most people never question: how often you eat. Every time you eat, insulin rises, not just when you eat sugar, not just when you eat carbs. Every single time you eat, your body releases insulin, because insulin's job is to deal with incoming energy. And if you're eating 5, 6, 7 times a day, even if it's keto snacks, your insulin never gets the chance to fall. And if insulin never falls, fat burning never fully turns on. This is why intermittent fasting has been shown in multiple studies to significantly lower insulin levels and improve metabolic flexibility, because it creates time where your body is not processing food, time where insulin can finally drop, time where your body has no choice but to tap into stored fat for fuel. But most people are unknowingly doing the opposite. They wake up and eat, snack mid-morning, eat lunch, snack again, dinner, maybe something late at night, and they wonder why nothing is changing. They're living in a constant fed state, and in a fed state, fat burning is biologically suppressed. Then comes the next hidden trigger: protein. You've been told protein is safe, unlimited, necessary, and it is necessary, but in the right amount, because excess protein doesn't just disappear. Your body converts it into glucose through a process called gluconeogenesis, and that glucose raises insulin. Research has shown that protein can stimulate insulin almost as much as carbohydrates in certain contexts, especially when consumed in large quantities. So when someone on keto loads their plate with protein thinking it will accelerate fat loss, they may be doing the exact opposite. The body doesn't care about labels like keto, it responds to signals. And excess protein is still a signal. Then there's the biggest illusion of all: artificial sweetness. Zero sugar, zero carbs, marketed as safe. But your brain doesn't read nutrition labels. Your brain detects sweetness. And when it does, it prepares your body for incoming sugar, triggering a hormonal response that includes insulin release. Some studies have shown that certain artificial sweeteners can increase insulin levels and even alter gut bacteria in ways that worsen metabolic health over time, and yet they are everywhere in the keto world. Diet drinks, sugar-free desserts, keto-friendly treats, all silently reinforcing the very problem people are trying to escape. So you remove sugar, but keep the sweetness, and your body stays stuck in the same hormonal loop. And then there's stress, the invisible driver that most people ignore. When your body is under stress, it releases cortisol, and cortisol raises blood sugar, which then raises insulin because your body thinks you're in danger. It's preparing you to survive, not to burn fat. Chronic stress, poor sleep, overtraining, emotional pressure, all of these keep cortisol elevated. And as long as cortisol is high, insulin will follow. This is why someone can eat perfectly, follow keto strictly, and still not lose weight because their internal environment is signaling survival, not fat burning. And here's the part that changes everything. Your body is not broken. It is responding exactly the way it was designed to respond. High insulin means store energy. Low insulin means release energy. That's the code. So if you want to unlock fat loss, you don't just change what's on your plate, you change the signals you send. You eat less often, not less food, just less frequently. Giving your body space to lower insulin. You eat enough protein to nourish, but not so much that it becomes glucose. You remove artificial sweeteners and let your body reset its natural response to food. You prioritize sleep like it's medicine because it is. Deep sleep lowers cortisol, and lower cortisol helps regulate insulin. You manage stress not just for peace of mind, but for metabolic survival, because a calm body burns fat, a stressed body stores it, and slowly something powerful begins to happen. Your hunger stabilizes, your energy becomes consistent, your cravings lose their grip, and your body finally starts to let go of stored fat. Not because you forced it, but because you removed the signal that was holding it back. This is the difference between chasing keto and understanding metabolism. One focuses on food, the other focuses on hormones. And when you focus on hormones, everything changes because fat loss is not a diet, it's a biological response. And the moment insulin drops, your body remembers exactly what to do. You've been told to fear sugar, to avoid carbs, to blame bread, rice, and sweets for weight gain. And yes, they play a role, but what if the real danger isn't just sugar? What if the real threat is the hidden insulin spikes you never see coming, the ones quietly happening every single day? Even when you think you're doing everything right, because insulin doesn't need sugar to rise, it only needs a signal. And in today's world, those signals are everywhere. Right now, your body is listening to everything you do, every bite, every sip, every habit, and with each one, it asks a single question: should I burn fat or should I store it? And insulin is the hormone that answers that question. When insulin rises, fat burning shuts off almost instantly. Not reduced, not slowed, stopped. And this isn't opinion, it's physiology. Studies in metabolic science show that elevated insulin directly inhibits lipolysis, the process where your body breaks down stored fat for energy. So the real question is not, are you eating carbs? The real question is, how often are you triggering insulin? Because here's the trap, the one that keeps people stuck for years. You're not eating sugar, well, but you're still spiking insulin. Again and again and again. It starts innocently. A handful of almonds, a piece of cheese, a keto snack between meals, something small, something harmless, something that fits your macros. But your body doesn't care about your macros, it cares about frequency. Every time you eat, insulin rises. Even fat, yes, even fat can cause a small insulin response. Protein causes a bigger one. And when you combine them in frequent meals or snacks, you create a constant wave of insulin that never fully settles. And when insulin never settles, your body never switches into fat burning mode. This is not about what you eat. It's about how often you eat it. Research has consistently shown that frequent eating keeps insulin elevated throughout the day, while spacing meals apart allows insulin to drop and fat oxidation to increase. This is why people who eat the same number of calories, but in fewer meals, often experience better fat loss and improved insulin sensitivity. But most people are unknowingly doing the opposite. They wake up and eat within minutes. They snack mid-morning, lunch comes early, another snack in the afternoon, dinner, and something sweet at night. And every time they eat, they restart the insulin cycle. It's like trying to drain a bathtub. While the faucet is still running, now layer on top of that the illusion of safe sweetness. Artificial sweeteners, marketed as 0 calorie, 0 carb, guilt free, but your body is not fooled by labels. Your brain detects sweetness, and sweetness alone can trigger a cephalic phase insulin response, a preemptive release of insulin before glucose even enters the bloodstream. That means you could be drinking a diet soda, chewing sugar-free gum, eating a keto dessert, and still raising insulin, even without sugar. And it gets deeper. Some research suggests that certain artificial sweeteners may alter gut microbiota in ways that impair glucose tolerance, meaning over time they may actually worsen your body's ability to handle sugar, increasing the very problem you're trying to solve. So you think you've escaped sugar, but your metabolism is still trapped in the same cycle. Then comes the protein overload. In the world of keto, protein is often treated as unlimited. Eat as much as you want. More is better. But your body doesn't work that way. Protein stimulates insulin significantly, and when consumed in excess, it can be converted into glucose through gluconeogenesis, raising both blood sugar and insulin levels. This is not theory. It's well-documented physiology. Your body is designed to maintain stable blood sugar. So when excess amino acids are present, it converts them into glucose to maintain balance. And every time that happens, insulin rises. So if your plate is constantly overloaded with protein, large portions, protein shakes, bars, snacks, you may be unknowingly keeping insulin elevated all day long. Now add one more layer, stress, because even if your food is perfect, your environment might not be. When your body experiences stress, whether it's physical, emotional, or psychological, it releases cortisol. And cortisol increases blood glucose because your body is preparing for action, preparing for survival. And when glucose rises, insulin follows. So you could be eating clean, no carbs, no sugar, perfect keto. But if you're sleeping poorly, constantly anxious, overworked, overwhelmed, your body is still receiving the signal to keep insulin high. This is why some people feel like they're doing everything right, but nothing is working because they're only looking at food, not the full picture. And the full picture is this: insulin is not controlled by one thing, it's controlled by everything. Your meals, your timing, your stress, your sleep, your habits, your environment, all of it feeds into this one powerful hormone. And as long as insulin stays elevated, your body stays in storage mode. But the moment you start removing these hidden spikes, everything begins to change. When you stop snacking, insulin has time to fall. When you remove artificial sweeteners, your body resets its response to sweetness. When you moderate protein, you reduce unnecessary glucose production. When you manage stress and improve sleep, cortisol drops and insulin follows. And slowly, almost quietly, your body shifts. Hunger becomes less urgent. Energy becomes more stable. Cravings begin to fade and fat, the energy your body has been holding on to, finally becomes accessible. This is the shift most people never experience. Not because it's complicated, but because it's hidden. Hidden in habits that feel normal. Hidden in foods that feel safe. Hidden in routines that seem harmless. But once you see it, you can't unsee it, because you realize it was never just about what you were eating. It was about the signals you were sending all day, every day. And the moment you change those signals, your body changes too. Your body is not stubborn. It is not broken. It is not working against you. It is responding to a signal, a powerful, invisible command that determines whether you burn fat or store it. And that signal is insulin. Right now, deep inside your body, a decision is being made every second: release energy or lock it away. And if insulin is high, even slightly elevated, the answer is always the same: store it, protect it, do not burn it. This is why so many people feel trapped in their own bodies, doing everything they've been told, eating less, cutting carbs, pushing harder, and still not seeing change because they are fighting biology without understanding the signal controlling it. Insulin is not just a blood sugar hormone. It is the master regulator of fat storage. When insulin rises, it activates enzymes that store fat. And at the same time, it shuts down the enzymes responsible for fat breakdown. This is not a theory. This is well-established metabolic science. Lipolysis, the process of burning fat, is directly inhibited by insulin. That means as long as insulin is elevated, your body cannot access its own fat stores. It doesn't matter how much fat you have. It doesn't matter how few carbs you eat. The door to fat burning remains closed. Now here's where it gets even more unsettling. You can be in ketosis and producing ketones and still have insulin high enough to slow or block fat loss. Because ketosis is about fuel availability, but insulin is about permission. Your body may have fat available, but insulin decides whether you're allowed to use it. And for many people, that permission is never fully granted. So what keeps insulin elevated even when you think you're doing everything right? It starts with stress, the silent force shaping your metabolism behind the scenes. When your brain perceives stress, whether it's work pressure, financial worry, lack of sleep, or emotional strain, it sends a signal to your adrenal glands: release cortisol. Cortisol is your survival hormone. It prepares your body for danger by raising blood sugar, giving you quick energy to fight or escape. But your body doesn't know the difference between a real threat and modern stress, so it responds the same way, again and again and again. And every time cortisol raises blood sugar, insulin is released to manage it. This means chronic stress creates a constant background elevation of insulin, even if your diet is perfect. Studies have shown that sleep deprivation alone can significantly reduce insulin sensitivity, making your body produce more insulin to handle the same amount of glucose. Just one night of poor sleep can disrupt this balance. Think about that. One night. Now imagine weeks, months, years of poor sleep. Your body is not failing. It is adapting to a state of constant alert. And in that state, fat burning is not a priority. Our survival is. Then comes another layer, our overtraining. You push harder, longer workouts, more intensity, and believing that more effort equals more results. But excessive exercise without proper recovery increases cortisol, and elevated cortisol means elevated insulin. So instead of unlocking fat loss, you reinforce the signal to store energy. This is why some of the most disciplined people, the ones working the hardest, feel the most stuck. Because they are unknowingly creating the exact hormonal environment that prevents fat loss. Then there's the hidden effect of undereating. It sounds counterintuitive, but when you chronically undereat, your body perceives it as a threat. Energy is scarce, survival is uncertain, and in response, it raises stress hormones, including cortisol, which again leads to increased insulin. So even though you're eating less, your body is holding on tighter, protecting itself. Because from a biological perspective, your body's goal is not to lose weight. It's to keep you alive. And every signal it receives shapes how it does that. Now combine all of this: stress, poor sleep, overtraining, undereating, and layer it on top of a keto diet. You might have low carbs, but your hormonal environment is still screaming, hold on to energy, do not let it go. And this is why your body refuses to burn fat. Not because it can't, but because it's been told not to. But here's the moment everything can change. Because once you understand the signal, you can start to change it. When you prioritize deep, consistent sleep, cortisol begins to drop. And as cortisol drops, insulin follows. When you manage stress through breathing, movement, time outdoors, or simply slowing down, you send a new message to your body: you are safe, and a safe body releases fat. When you train with intention, not exhaustion, allowing recovery to be part of the process, your hormones begin to rebalance. When you eat enough to nourish your body, not starve it, you remove the survival signal that was keeping fat locked away. And when you combine this with proper meal timing, giving your body space between meals, allowing insulin to fall naturally, something incredible begins to happen. Your body shifts out of defense mode, out of survival, and into balance. Your hunger becomes predictable, not urgent. Your energy becomes steady, not crashing. Your cravings lose their power because your body is no longer searching for quick relief. And the fat, the energy that's been stored for so long, finally becomes available. Not because you forced it, but because you created the conditions for it to be released. This is the truth most people never hear. Fat loss is not about punishment. It's not about eating less and moving more. It's about understanding the signals your body responds to and changing them, because your body is always listening, always adapting, always responding. And the moment you stop fighting it and start working with it, it stops resisting and starts transforming.